Training camp is off and running. Hot best ball summer is fully engaged. Michael Penix and Kyle Pitts are golfing buddies, and Michael Penix is hyping Kyle Pitts again. Justin Fields has a toe injury, which seems fine. James Cook is practicing. Jauan Jennings is practicing. Ricky Pearsall is almost back to practice. Luther Burden is not practicing. And so much more in week one of training camp and what it all means for our fantasy football and best ball drafts. That's what we're going to do here at Spike Week. And maybe draft a couple teams too, because, that's what we do. Let's do it. Oh, gosh. Bruce already triggering me. Yes, GM. 68 and sunny in Huntington Beach for Bruce Dogs Coffee Fantasy Football. I have Dogs Coffee Fantasy Football as well, but not 68 and sunny. Love Huntington Beach. I used to, when I worked at Boeing, the office of the team that I worked for was in Huntington Beach. I've been in Huntington Beach many a time. Happy triple giveaway. Yes, of course, at the end of the show, if you're first now joining a Spike Week show on Fridays, there's a ticket giveaway. All you have to do before Friday is comment on one of our videos of this week, and you'll get entered to a ticket to the Drafters main event, the $20 Drafters tournament, which, of course, is $500,000 to first place. We'll give away those at the end of the show. We'll get into the training camp news. I got a bunch of training camp news. I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose, consuming all of the training camp hype and reports and depth charts and who's practicing and who isn't and who is injured and who isn't and all of that different stuff. But it's a wonderful Friday. We can't ask for much better than that. If you could, of course, on your way in, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. And yes, the thumbnail is going to bring in the foot fetish bros. We got Justin Fields with a foot. We got Kyle Pitts and Michael Penix doing some golfing. Shout out Kendrick. Thank you. Hot dogs and coffee. That's an odd combo. Yes, you won't catch me with hot dogs and coffee. You will catch me with dogs and coffee. Yes, as Chris mentioned, today we are going to break down a lot of this news. I got about 20 or so nuggets that we'll kind of rapid fire through. And, for me, rapid fire is a very difficult exercise, but nonetheless, we will do it. And then we'll hop over onto drafters.com because, of course, we're giving away some tickets to the Drafters main event today. But specifically this weekend, they have a promo on Drafters that you can also get your own free ticket. If you draft 5 teams into the Drafters main event, $100, 5 teams, they'll give you one for free from now until the end of the weekend. So I'm going to knock out a couple here on the show and see if we can't scoop ourselves up a free ticket here over the course of this weekend. If you've not signed up for Drafters, you can also get a 100% deposit bonus up to $100 if you're a new user using code SPIKE. So you can get the free ticket. You can get another $100 for free. Drafters is going to do some more promos later in the summer. You can get a whole bunch of free fantasy football teams over on drafters.com. Just use promo code SPIKE. And of course, quickly, last housekeeping thing, I promise. We recently lowered our subscription for the Spike Week Premium tools, rankings, content, strategy, Discord, everything. The link is in the description to sign up for Spike Week Premium. It is $200 annually now, $39.99 a month if you would like to join for the heart of best ball summer. If you'd like to be covered for 365 days, you can do so with an annual subscription. We will be doing, as I mentioned on yesterday's show, we'll be doing a lot more in season. We'll be covering some DFS. We'll be handing out some sports bets. We'll be doing some battle royales and some drafters in season drafts. We'll be doing a lot more in season content, and all of that will come with the premium subscription as well. Kendrick says, just a quick caveat, the Drafters promo for this weekend is all fast drafts. Bruce says he lives near a big Boeing facility. It's certainly possible that it was the Boeing facility that I frequented. It's been more than it's been a decade now. About a decade, a little more, something like that. Yeah, we're working on the thumbnail game, and I particularly enjoyed this one. Pac fan trying to win another free ticket. All right, let's get to what we're all here for. Let's talk about some training camp stuff. Yes, I have a whole entire Google Doc here with what I would call the 20 most important nuggets. This does not cover everything. What I will recommend is grow to love 2 Twitter accounts, 2 websites, 2 Discords, 2 resources if you want to consume fantasy news and not miss anything. Our good friend, the Coach Speak Index, Greg over at the Coach Speak Index is an invaluable resource because he is listening to every single coach quote, press conference, clip, interview, absolutely everything to decode what this coach is really meaning. And he has a historical track record for each coach, right? The Coach Speak Index. How trustworthy are they? Check out Coach Speak Index and 32 beat writers. If you can't handle, I used to have notifications on for 32 beat writers on oldtwitter.com. That has gone away because it is quite insane the amount of notifications you're going to get. But I spend every day going back and reading through all the different stuff that 32 beat writers shares. They're doing what you would expect with the handled 32 beat writers. They're aggregating all of the different information that is out there in NFL training camp land, and it is extremely valuable. Let's start at the top. We're not going to start with Justin Fields because the Justin Fields thing actually, we'll get to it. Michael Penix was did the post-practice presser for the Atlanta Falcons, and the most notable thing that came from that is he says, and I quote, "You see, we got KP the ball today," meaning they threw the ball to Kyle Pitts a lot. So what, right? Who really cares? A guy getting some targets in training camp practice is ultimately nothing. He does go on to say there's going to be a lot of that. There is a full article where he talks at length about the fact that they believe that they need to get Kyle Pitts the ball more. The coaching staff is included in that article as well. It is up on NFL.com. Raheem Morris talking about how they know they need to get back to rookie year Kyle Pitts. Does any of that mean anything? Not necessarily. What I found very interesting is just from a straight fun perspective, Michael Penix and Kyle Pitts are best buds. So I learned that yesterday. Did not know that Michael Penix and Kyle Pitts are best buddies. And in fact, they are golfing buddies. Kyle Pitts is apparently the good golfer between the two. Michael Penix, not so much on the golf course. That's fun. But what was like from an actionable standpoint, right? Just like hype and those kinds of things are not, from a fantasy lens and really from a real life lens, are not necessarily the things that we want to jump to take away big lessons from. Hype is hype. It's opinion. It's going to come everywhere. We get hype on tons of players who just end up not being good. We need to trust ourselves in that part of the process. But Kyle Pitts yesterday and so far in camp has actually been working more with the wide receivers than with the tight ends. He's always been kind of called in fantasy circles a wide receiver who we get to play at tight end. I think the Falcons may be shifting a little bit more towards the fact that they need to utilize him as more of a wide receiver. I think that's a potential perk for actually drafting Kyle Pitts this year. If you believe in Michael Penix, if you believe in the Atlanta Falcons offense, I do think Kyle Pitts is becoming a little more intriguing, not because of the hype, not because of our prospect, we're dug in to the prospect profile that we've been holding on to for 5 years. But I think the fact that they did not upgrade at wide receiver at all, if you recall, the Atlanta Falcons didn't do anything to their wide receiver room. So much so that people are drafting Ray McLeod, who does not appear to necessarily be the wide receiver 3 on the Atlanta Falcons. I think it might be Kyle Pitts that is the wide receiver 3 on the Atlanta Falcons. So stay tuned to that. Yeah, Shuby said they watched 900 Ray McLeod routes last year, and they were like, how about let's not do that? Kyle Pitts is not a superstar probably, but he's better than that. Let's not do that. They've also been hyping up some Kadarius Hodge and other Falcons wide receivers. Of course, what we thought was going to be the most impactful news from yesterday, specifically in Jets camp, Justin Fields, they believe, got stepped on. And but the original reports are, as you know, chaotic, and the beats are being very dramatic with the carted off. He walked off gingerly and then was carted off were some of the phrases used. It's sad, but it's true. We have to dig in when people say carted off, because Justin Fields was riding shotgun on the cart. He wasn't laid out on the back. He wasn't like he did hobble over, right? And he dislocated a toe in his right foot. He took the cart back to the medical facility because it's not close to the practice field. And when you're injured, you don't walk a mile on an injured foot as a professional athlete. So the carted off thing, a lot of guys get carted off. So the lesson from all of that today is don't freaking panic immediately when we hear things like carted off, leg injury, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes it is going to be bad. There's going to be something that happens this summer where it is going to be bad, but carted off does not necessarily mean anything. Justin Fields is back at practice. I don't know. As of this, they're practicing right now. So it's unclear if exactly how much Justin Fields is doing, but he's out there stretching with his teammates. He's out there at practice. He's got his helmet and all that kind of stuff. So we've avoided an issue with Justin Fields. Yeah, we've even had, as Pi says here, what about Aircast? Last year, Tyrone Tracy was writhing in pain, was put into an Aircast, and everybody thought, oh my God, this guy broke his leg, or something very serious happened to Tyrone Tracy. He was back at practice the next day. So that is a very unique situation. Generally, an Aircast is pretty bad, but that's just something to keep in mind. Ray had more receiving yards than Kyle Pitts. Yeah, that's fine. Ray just is bad at football. Kyle Pitts is certainly more talented than Ray McLeod. Like, counting stats are not the end all be all to me. I'm not sitting here trying to like flag plant Kyle Pitts. I am anti flag planting Ray McLeod. But specifically, you didn't hear Michael Penix being like, we're going to throw the ball to Ray McLeod a lot this year. That is clearly not a goal of theirs. Ray McLeod ran a lot of routes on a team who passed the ball a lot. And Kyle Pitts is possibly just miscast as a traditional tight end, and they're figuring out how to use him. He's had 1,000 yards in the NFL. So just something to keep in mind. I'm just reporting what is happening in training camps with a little bit of some of my takes. I'm not flag planting Kyle Pitts by any stretch of the imagination. Ray should probably take up some golf, and maybe maybe they talk about him. All right, Brian, these are not in priority order, though. These are some of the most shocking ones at the top to me. And I can't help. I truly cannot help. I don't know how, if you've been following Cowboys camp, you couldn't be just inundated with KaVontae Turpin hype, highlights, coach speak, everything. The specific part I'm calling out here is that Brian Schottenheimer loves KaVontae Turpin. KaVontae Turpin played running back in high school. He is one of, if not the best, return man in all of the NFL. He's up there. He's a dynamic weapon that they have been saying for about a year or so that they need to utilize a little bit more. That was specifically at wide receiver. But the interesting part, Brian Schottenheimer says, he's just dynamic, man. I love that Brian Schottenheimer said, man, at the end of it. But he's been lining up in the backfield. Is KaVontae Turpin going to be the full-time Dallas Cowboys running back? Of course not. Can KaVontae Turpin play some in the backfield? And all of this silly Javonte Williams versus Miles Sanders versus Jaden Blue stuff we've been talking about, the answer is KaVontae Turpin? I kind of think so. I think he's going to play some wide receiver. I think he's going to play some running back. I'm very intrigued by KaVontae Turpin. I'm going to update the rankings today. He's going in there. He was not in there before. I might have had him at like 2, borderline undraftable, but in the top 250. But he's going to go up. And I have taken a non-zero amount of KaVontae Turpin over the course of the last 48 hours. So just something to keep in mind. Ricky Pearsall, some of these will be a little bit more rapid fire. I thought those were kind of some of the most interesting and funny. The Kyle Pitts one is mostly just funny. Ricky Pearsall is on the PUP, the PUP list, physically unable to perform. But if he continues to fall in your drafts and you like him, you have about 2 days to continue that. He has reached full speed. All the reports are they're being very cautious over the course of these first 3 days. They kind of do practices in segments, I guess, in San Francisco. I'm not super aware of all the different practice, methodologies or whatever. But Ricky Pearsall is good to go. They expect he'll be back at practice on Sunday. He's fine. It's just precautionary. And don't worry about Ricky Pearsall. And the dip that has happened on him is silly because he's fine. Jauan Jennings is practicing. He did not demand a trade. So that's interesting. He does want a contract extension, but he's practicing with the San Francisco 49ers. So if we were worried about Jauan Jennings, and if there's a dip on Jauan Jennings, also a nice time probably to buy the San Francisco 49ers wide receivers, because unfortunately, star of OTAs earlier this summer, Jacob Cowing, second-year wide receiver Jacob Cowing, was getting rave reports while Pearsall was out, while Jennings while we were going through the Jennings thing, and of course, Brandon Ayuk was out as well. Jacob Cowing comes into day one of camp, picks up a hamstring injury right away. Not sure when he's going to return. Doesn't seem good for Jacob Cowing. This was his chance, right, to kind of shine and potentially prove that he deserves a role on the 49ers this year. And now he's out with the hamstring injury. Name, just to note, last round guy. I don't imagine this is going to be a thing, but Ja'Cory Brooks is getting a ton of publicity out of Washington Commanders camp. Noah Brown seems fine, but is going to get some rest days with his injury that he had during OTAs. And Ja'Cory Brooks seems to be kind of stealing the show so far at Commanders camp. And I don't think that I don't think Noah Brown is some, immovable object. Certainly Luke McCaffrey is probably just a slot receiver. Jalen Lane is just a slot receiver. What is Debo at this point? It's just something to keep an eye on. The wide receiver, kind of wide receiver 3-ish battle in Washington. And thus far, Ja'Cory Brooks, who I kind of liked as a prospect. It caught my eye because I thought Ja'Cory Brooks was a pretty intriguing prospect. He was quite good at Louisville this past year. Alabama transfer to Louisville. So talented prospects profile, talented like high school prospect pedigree. And then did show well at Louisville this year, and I thought was intriguing as a prospect. So just something to keep an eye on. I know we're all craving more Steelers wide receivers. I know everybody just can't get their hands on enough Steelers wide receivers in their fantasy drafts. But if you were looking to get one when they ran out their 12 personnel, meaning they only had 2 wide receivers on the field, it was, of course, DK Metcalf, and Roman Wilson was the wide receiver 2. Calvin Austin came in when they went into 11 personnel. It's early, still July. Can that change? Sure. But I think early indications would be that that's what they want. They want Roman Wilson to take that job. We'll see if he does. Again, a little bit more hype-ish, but the drumbeat on Emeka Egbuka by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Everyone around the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is a firm believer in Emeka Egbuka. And so if you're not, I think it's probably time to start believing a little bit in Emeka Egbuka. Baker Mayfield, go just look up. I won't read the whole thing or belabor this one. Go read what Baker Mayfield had to say about Egbuka. He believes the kid's going to be a star. We'll see. That's just what the quarterback thinks. But quarterback has a little bit of a power over who gets the football. And Baker loves. I wrote down. Baker loves Emeka Egbuka, and that might be underselling it, is what I'm telling you. The Raiders, when they got out in 11 personnel, if you were wondering how they would align, it is the 2 rookies alongside Jacoby Myers, of course, Brock Bowers at tight end, but Jacoby Myers, Dante Thornton, and Jack Besh were in 11 personnel for the Raiders, and then Ryan Edwards, Broncos beat reporter. If you've been wondering how to decipher the Broncos wide receiver room, look, I'll toot my own horn. We've been calling this Devon Vele thing for forever, and he stays in the last round. Marvin Mims goes 5-6 rounds ahead of Devon Vele. Pat Bryant, I do like still. I think Pat Bryant is, your rookie, which is hilarious that Devon Vele is only in his second year at like 27 years old or whatever. But nonetheless, I think Pat Bryant is still fine, and I think Troy Franklin is still fine. But I just think every Broncos person continues to tell you Vele is the wide receiver 2 for the Denver Broncos. DeAndre Swift was hyping up Kyle Monangai. This is most notable to me for, of course, Kyle Monangai. But all the reports are about Kyle Monangai in the backfield. It's DeAndre Swift and Kyle. You can't find Roschon Johnson news if you want to find it. Nobody talks about him. I haven't seen him catch a pass from Caleb Williams or take a handoff from Caleb Williams. I think we might have just been wrong about the ordering of the guys behind DeAndre Swift. We'll see, but there ain't a lot of Roschon stuff going on in Chicago. Brashard Smith, is a readily, frequently picked running back in fantasy drafts at the end, in the last round or so, a fun kind of hybrid-ish prospect. But I thought it was notable that it has mostly been the other three running backs, which is a little bit down the list: Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, and Eli Mitchell, playing the traditional running back position, while Brashard Smith, when playing with the ones and the core guys, has actually been lining up at wide receiver most of the time. So just something to keep in note there with the Chiefs backfield. We have no idea what that stuff is going to look like, but just thought it was notable that they are moving Brashard Smith around a little bit. Speaking of, just something I thought was similar to the golf buddies and the Kyle Pitts hype we had. You got to come on. If there's Kyle Pitts hype, we got to talk about it. It's year 5 in a row of the Kyle Pitts type stuff. But Travis Kelce was looking a little washed last year, and Andy Reid did go on a little bit of a soliloquy about Travis Kelce looking better than he's looked recently. Like, he actually spent the offseason working out instead of podcasting. He called him svelte, as a matter of fact, that Travis Kelce looks quite good. And I did think it's not notable for that news, and like that news is actionable, but with the fact that we think Rashee Rice is probably going to get suspended, that is a boost for Travis Kelce in that time when Rashee Rice is out. So if we do get a more of a reinvigorated Travis Kelce, I think it's interesting. We'll see if that's anything, but interesting nonetheless. One of the most notable things from training camp, so probably too far down on this list, but Stephon Diggs notably tore his ACL partway into the 2024 season last year and signed with the New England Patriots. And everybody seemed to be concerned about Diggs in fantasy circles, concerned about Stephon Diggs. Was he going to be ready to start the season? He's not even on PUP. He's practicing. In fact, they had a dog adoption event, and he's setting a dog down, and it's running away from him. He's chasing after a dog. No knee brace, no nothing for Stephon Diggs. So I'm not saying you have to like Stephon Diggs, but the injury does not appear to be a concern for Diggs. Jalen Royals, we just need to draft Jalen Royals. Okay, he's running with the ones. He's getting Rashee Rice comps already. Lots of positive things to say about Jalen Royals, and of course, most notably, he is getting time, significant time with the starters and with Patrick Mahomes. And Rashee Rice is practicing, by the way. So they're cycling through guys, and Jalen Royals is a part of that cycle. James Cook, I'll flip the order of these two super quickly. James Cook is practicing for the Bills. Bills beats seem to be really optimistic and not worried at all about the James Cook contract negotiations. How do I feel about that? I'm not sure. But if you're getting a dip on James Cook, and again, you like him, similar to the Pearsall or the Diggs or whatever, when you're getting a dip, if you do want to draft that guy, I think that the time where he was falling is going to dry up here pretty quickly, given what we've heard in camp thus far. On the flip side, Luther Burden, the dip is probably going to continue because he is not yet practicing. I have no goddamn idea what is going on with Luther Burden. Is he ever going to practice for the Chicago Bears? It is frustrating. I don't think it's a big deal yet, but it could eventually become a big deal. They made note that they're like making sure to coach him up, and he's in all the meetings, and they're talking to him after plays and stuff. And, they're trying to keep him involved, but at the end of the day, we do need him to start practicing at some point soon. Again, it's only July. We got plenty of time, but every practice miss for a rookie, especially a rookie second-round pick, is notable. And so it's something I do want to point out. Finally, if you've been wondering what's up behind Josh Jacobs, the first crack at the RB2 job in Green Bay has been Marshawn Lloyd. Not Emmanuel Wilson. It has been Marshawn Lloyd. So that is that amongst the training camp news. Of course, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I will hold on, just trying to get my drafters pulled up here, and then we can pile through some of the chat questions. Oh boy, I'm on the clock in a bunch of slows. But we're gonna hop into the $20 main event over here. I mentioned 9 of 12. Sick. We only need 2. We're gonna do drafters today because they are, if you missed it at the top, drafters you can get 100% bonus. If you've not played on drafters before, deposit $100. They will give you 100 free if you use code SPIKE when you sign up. But also this weekend, starting today, if you draft 5 teams into the drafters main event, you will get one for free. So we're gonna try to knock a couple of those out for all of us here. I saw your Thank you for bringing this. I saw your super chat. Thank you a ton for your super chat, D Owens. He just took the Mooney fall seems very, very foolish. He took a hard fall, like you go up for a pass and you kind of like your legs go out from underneath you. Darnell Mooney took a hard fall in Falcons practice, and so one of those, like, you kind of get up gingerly, you sit out a little bit. But Darnell Mooney is totally fine. Darnell Mooney is totally fine. If you, similar to the case for all these other guys, if you're going to get a dip on Darnell Mooney and you like him, take him, because it means nothing. He's totally fine. Let's see. Okay, Chad is on fire. Former MVP KaVontae Turpin. Turpin or Royals? Still Royals for me. Royals has an upside of, like, we're drafting him really highly next year. That ain't going to happen for KaVontae Turpin. But in the last round of drafts, or one of the last rounds of drafts, right, our dollar auction players, if we were classifying our best ball picks as auction values, our dollar auction players, KaVontae Turpin is a very legitimate one, in my opinion. Dial says he could see another 3 to 4 manufactured touches a game and another 3 to 4 targets in the pass game for Turpin. I agree. And I think, like, the most important thing from, again, we're drafting best ball teams. If you're in a managed league, like, you're never going to start KaVontae Turpin, so who cares? But in a best ball league, he's exactly the kind of guy that we want to have. Like, there could be games where he gets 8 carries and 7 targets. He's catching the ball out of the backfield. He's also a dynamic down the field threat, and he's dynamic with the ball in his hands. He's the exact kind of, like, spike week, pun intended, player that we want on best ball rosters. I don't want to know when to start KaVontae, right? But if this role is real, this kind of hybrid weapon role, he's a functional part of the backfield that we thought was going to Jaden Blue or Miles Sanders or Javonte Williams or Deuce Vaughn, and it's him, and he's playing like kind of the wide receiver 3-ish role. That's valuable, man. That's valuable in best ball, especially in PPR formats. So I think it would just be foolish to ignore him. Doesn't mean he's run to the podium to draft KaVontae Turpin, but I do think it means, like, we should be keeping an eye on this situation. D-Lou, are you related to Ray McLeod or something? Hodge is not playing over Ray, and if Mooney is out for a while, Ray could be a smash. Unless he's like Ray McLeod is not moving to the outside. Ray McLeod is a slot receiver only. He's a Pop Douglas, a Wan'Dale Robinson. He ain't going to the outside to take the Mooney role. That's what the other guys would be for. San Francisco will make or break my season. Morning, Pepper Tony. Should we click Jordan Watkins this morning? I can't blame you. DeMarcus Robinson or Jordan Watkins? Who are we going to battle for? With our San Francisco soldiers just constantly get wrecked every single summer. What are we going to do? Okay, let's see. Speaking of the Falcons, the answer to the Falcons is really just Drake London, who I take here with Puka Nacua. But every year, man, it seems like the 49ers are such a smash, and then they just keep going down. Man. But Jordan Watkins was a semi-intriguing prospect. I'm a little unsure of what to do with Jordan Watkins, though I think his stylistically kind of fits. A Ricky Pearsall-ian like fit with the 49ers. So I've made crazier clicks than Jordan Watkins, let me tell you. Phantom needs some good Krosky Barrett news. That I cannot provide for you. I don't know what that means, Damien. Yeah, I just want to reiterate, Baker loves Emeka Egbuka, as Delu says. Max says, I'm starting to think Egbuka is this year's McConkey. I will say, I think Ladd was a better prospect and is a better football player than Emeka Egbuka. But Emeka Egbuka is a good football player and a good prospect. And if you guys know, Chris Godwin's one of my favorite players, will be forever one of my favorite NFL players. I just love the way he plays. He also happened to have won me a lot of money over the years. He's an awesome human being. I root for Chris Godwin. And I think Chris Godwin is appealing in fantasy drafts this year, given we're getting a huge discount now. The injury is real, but the price decrease on the injury is also real. So I do like Chris Godwin. I think Mike Evans is fine. But I'm into the Bucs offense, and Egbuka feels like a clean and easy way into it where he can benefit from a lot of different things. I'm not a huge Jalen McMillan guy. He's fine, right? Jalen McMillan is the running joke in the Spike Week Discord. When we call someone fine, remember what your wife says to you. When your wife says something is when she's fine, she's never fine. So like when we say fine, we're just being nice and we don't really like the guy. Nonetheless, I don't love Jalen McMillan. I have Hampton with these guys already. Do I want to do it again? Yeah, kind of. I didn't mention Amari and Hampton. I don't feel like the Chargers are just hyping everyone to the moon. Speaking of Ladd. So Trey Harris, Keandre Lambert-Smith, Amari and Hampton, Aronde Gadsden. Who did I miss? QJ. They're all awesome. Just ask the Chargers coaches. All these guys are going to the fucking Hall of Fame. Well, I don't think Egbuka is better than T-Mac. I don't think Egbuka is better than Travis Hunter is an interesting one, so I think that's fair, but I don't think Egbuka is better than T-Mac. So I would laugh at you too, though I don't think it's crazy, so I wouldn't laugh. It's not that funny, but it's a hot take, and I respect it. I like it. I think Egbuka is just like rock solid, like Egbuka, because he's from Ohio State. So I'm cheating a little bit, and it's probably lazy. Egbuka reminds me of Chris Olave, from the sense of I'm pretty sure this dude's going to be a good NFL player. I'm pretty sure this dude's not going to be Jamar Chase, like that kind of a thing is on Egbuka. Wow, Kittle falls too, eh? You know who, speaking of the 49ers, if Drake London is the winner amongst this Falcons shit show, you know who's the winner amongst the 49ers shit show? That guy. Saw Roshan. Yeah, but who was he playing with? They're not in pads. It's like a spin move and a cut or whatever. The one clip I saw of Roshan, he was playing with Tyson Bagent. I'm starting to feel this too, that the Bears are going to be trash. There was nothing. I don't think I was waiting out the Roshan thing because like Roshan is like a ghost that we've been telling ourselves is a thing since he came into the league, right? He wasn't good in college, and we said, oh well, he was behind Bijan, so like it's okay. Trust me, he's really good. He just had a really good guy in front of him. Okay, I get it. That makes sense. I can get down with that conversation. He's a good recruit at Texas, whatever. Good pass catcher, big guy, blah blah blah. And now he's had every opportunity to like do something in the NFL. Like this dude hasn't had Bijan Robinson in front of him in the NFL, and he can't do shit. And now new regime that did not draft him comes in. All they're doing is talking about Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift. And so Travis Homer is a pass catcher and a special teams player. Like I can't wrap my head around Roshan at this point forward. Obviously, there is no Justin Jefferson on the Broncos roster, but isn't Devon Vele the most likely player to have an Olabisi Johnson career arc? I think he's a little better than that. I think Devon Vele is an NFL wide receiver. And I think the Olabisi Johnson thing was always like not real. Devon Vele was a starter for the Broncos last year. They continue to say he is a starter. He's not anything special, and that's why he's not like a flag plant. He's not a Jalen Royals level flag plant. But there's inherent value in best ball drafts to getting a useful player on a good offense, running a lot of routes. Right? People are drafting Michael fucking Wilson like 4 rounds ahead of Devon Vele. Why? We're drafting Cedric Tillman on with the Zay, nice. I'm drafting a team that I've probably drafted before thus far, so we're gonna have to find a way to get funky here. But like people are chasing routes on bad offenses. Like I'm down to chase routes in the last round. If Devon Vele shoots up to the 14th round or whatever, absolutely not. Like no, thank you. But it's the sheer fact that he's a last round pick. It's a hodgepodge. It's DeAndre Swift is the one, and then everyone else is rotating in the. But the guy who they are most excited about is Kyle Monangai. That's who I'm currently drafting. Would you handcuff last round? So if you have Swift, would you take? These are definitely 2 different questions. I don't love taking Marshawn Lloyd with Josh Jacobs. I'm fine taking Kyle Monangai with DeAndre Swift. Jacobs is a volume bet. Ooh, I would normally do a little Triple H action here, but Travis Hunter pick 65 is insane. Absolutely insane. I'm not a huge Travis Hunter guy. Aren't you worried about how much he's going to play offense? Yes, I'm worried. At pick 65, am I worried? He's my wide receiver 4 with Puka, London, and Zay Flowers. And I have an elite tight end. And I have a hero running back in Amari and Hampton. 1H, single H Friday. Not triple H Friday, but single H Friday. And I guess Hunter fills an H. He's the number 2 overall pick. They've told us he's going to play offense. I kind of just don't care at pick 65. Can you give a recap of the news? No. I love you, Green Bean, but no. I spent 25 minutes going through the news. If you want to go back and check it out, I would go back and check it out. Let's see. If you have commented, what I will say, if you have commented this morning, I finished up the entries right before the show. So if you've commented since the show has started, you'll get entered into next week's spin. 2 mules and a cart. Hilarious avatar, by the way. I actually drafted Ja'Cory Brooks once before the draft. None since. May have to revisit. Another reminder to trust my eyes. Yeah, I liked him too. I liked him as a player. I didn't draft him in the pre-draft cycle like you did. But so shouts to you. But I've been intrigued by Ja'Cory Brooks. I had him definitely too high in my pre-draft rookie rankings, but I thought he was interesting. Will says the Packers have to throw more this year, right? This is the oh my gosh, what's it called? But did it work for them? Right? Like they have to, right? Right? It's like maybe. I hope. I think math would say, right? Just the basic math, regression, how a football season works out, all that kind of stuff is going to say yes. They have a great defense. They still don't really have anything that stands out in the wide receiver room. We'll see what's up with Matthew Golden. I do very much like Tucker Kraft, but I don't know. I think something's going to have to change if they're going to start throwing a lot more. Defense going to have to get worse. Something like that. Definitely overreaction season. Let's see here. Pollard feels like a nice fit on this hero running back team. Just an idea. You should do one free spin ticket before you draft so we can join you. This is a good idea. Unfortunately, however, I have to contact the drafters folks and give them people's usernames and all that kind of stuff. And like so for example, I have 4 best ball down on the wheel. And if you're asking to somebody to be able to get a free ticket before I enter the draft, I don't think that would the logistics of that would work. People still taking Turpin. Yeah, if you would go back and listen to the news segment, Green Bean, you would understand. People were never taking Turpin. So the still word in your question, I don't think is accurate. People have never drafted KaVontae Turpin like ever in best ball, and now they probably should. Let's see. Let's do Mahomes and figure out a little backstack of Mahomes. It's crazy because you can actually backstack Mahomes a little bit this year. I could do the svelte Travis Kelce. I can do Hollywood Brown. I can do Jalen Royals. I can do Brashard Smith. I think that's a reasonable comp. Yeah. Yeah, it's not about him being a deep threat. It's not at all about him being a deep threat. And if George Pickens is on, like, having good football players next to you is good. Here's the greatest lesson that I've had to learn, and I think that other people probably still need to learn in fantasy football, point blank, period. Being on an awesome offense with other awesome players is good, not bad. I would rather have a guy on an awesome offense than this shit that DK Metcalf's going to have to go sit through in Pittsburgh this year. I would have rather had DK Metcalf last year on the Seahawks with JSN, with Geno, Tyler Lockett, Ken Walker, whatever, than this fucking disaster of Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers and Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin and Jonnu and Fryer. It's a mess. You want the good offenses. Of course, there's levels to that, right? Draft cost and all that kind of stuff matters. But if KaVontae Turpin is playing running back on a awesome Cowboys offense with an awesome deep threat in George Pickens and one of the best receivers on the planet in CeeDee Lamb, that's good for him. Not bad. That's good. That's good. I like that. Pepper Tony says, I really hope hybrid role players become more common. I think it's going to. Maybe it's just a hot take of me. But if you follow, it happens more in college. It obviously happens in high school. But these guys coming up now are more do-it-all players, right? It's not the 90s where it's like you played running back. Like running backs don't catch passes. Running backs run between the tackles. Wide receivers, you go out, you line up out wide. This was before shotgun. This is before all the modern evolution of football. And these guys can do a lot of different stuff. And I think we still pigeonhole them too much into, though it's come a very long way, like a very long way. I think we still pigeonhole them too much into these super set specific roles even in the NFL. Charles says, this is my 0 RB year. You can feel it. I hope so, Charles. I don't know if I can feel it, but I'm glad that somebody can. In 2 wide sets, I did not see a report. Wow. Look, all the top guys are quarterbacks. I wonder, okay, do I need to take Purdy now? Or should I take the receiver? I'm trying to look and see who this guy is. Jauan is next to me, but he has Hurts. I'm just going to take him because I'm a little panicked. I did not plan ahead to see who to take here. I did not see it. Massive Audio says, any idea who started in 2 wide receiver sets for the Raiders? All I saw was I'm not saying it's not out there, but I'm saying that all I saw was the 3 wide receiver sets. It's obvious Jacoby Myers is obviously one of them. I'm unsure if it's Thornton or Besh in 2 wide. sets. Costco, Matt Turpin over Tolbert and Dallas stacks for me. For me, yes. The thing with KaVontae Turpin, I can't believe this is the fucking KaVontae Turpin episode. He's good at something in the NFL. Having the ball in his, he's dynamic. He's good at being a dynamic football player with the ball in his hands and without, quite frankly. He played running back when he was younger. He's converted to wide receiver because he's small. And he's the best return man in the NFL. So, like, I know he has a skill. What skill does Jalen Tolbert have? None? I'm not sure any. Let's see. Yeah, there goes the quarterback run. I have Pollard, so I think we'll skip Tajay here. Sharps is fine. I don't have Sharps. So as mentioned, I'm trying to do something a little bit different. I want this 0 on the end here. I want to get a guy that has a 0 on the end, which is, of course, my Puka and London teams. So I don't have Sharps on any Puka and London teams. And I kind of drafted a decent amount of overlap on my within my portfolio on this team thus far. Oh, wow. Ladd over Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr.? Cody says, we thought Justin Jefferson was just solid too. Yeah, that's true. There are outliers to all of them, for sure. Justin Jefferson is insane. But so the thing about Justin Jefferson, and it's possible you could say this about Egbuka, which makes it a totally fair comment, is Justin Jefferson was awesome. We just thought he was a slot-only player because he only played in the slot at LSU, and he played alongside Jamar Chase in a hilarious, the best college offense of all time, Terrace Marshall and Clyde Edwards-Helaire also on that team. But we didn't have the creative mind to see that he was much more than just kind of a college slot guy, because he's like a fine athlete, not like an absolute superstar athlete, and he just turned out to be. Jamar Chase was a superstar, but so was Justin Jefferson. It remains to be seen. Egbuka played with Marvin Harrison Jr., which we thought was maybe a superstar. Now we're not so sure that he's a superstar. And then last year he played with Jeremiah Smith, who is a superstar. So there's some parallels for sure, but there's also parallels to Olave, and there's parallels to the really good players and not the superstars. I think it's just hard to. I don't ever want to, even Ladd is not Justin Jefferson. Brian Thomas Jr. is not Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver on the planet. And so it's tricky. That's a high bar to clear for any player. Let's do. Should I do the Penix or should I do the Lawrence? I have what is this? A lot of my London is, yeah, that's fair. Let's do I'm an idiot. Well, three QB slappy. I literally just forgot I took Brock Purdy. Alec Pierce had more scrimmage yards than Worthy, and Ray had more receiving yards than Worthy. Yeah, I mean, it's just like that doesn't. I'm like okay with Worthy in round 4, like counting receiving yards and stuff last year, right? Like, go look at Amon-Ra St. Brown's rookie season. Let's look at Amon-Ra St. Brown's rookie season. Let's see. Amon-Ra St. Brown as a rookie, 900 yards in 17 games. Like, it was not anything super duper special. Let's get back on track here with a little running back action. I'm not flag planning Xavier Worthy. I think I'm underweight Xavier Worthy. But like, if Patrick Mahomes is awesome, Xavier Worthy came on very strong down the stretch, like an Amon-Ra St. Brown came on strong down the stretch. I'm not comparing the two. They could not possibly be more different of football players and in very different situations. I just don't want to latch on to like last season's counting stats to like make my decisions. Players grow, players change their roles change, all that different kind of stuff. And frankly, Worthy's role changed over the course of the Ray Hill to die on is certainly an interesting one, and pivoting it into a Worthy conversation. I love you, D-Lou, but I'm concerned about where it's Friday morning and we're flag planting Ray McLeod. Might have a tough weekend. We might have a very, very tough weekend. I mean, Hollywood stinks. Hollywood was not out all of last year. He was out part of last year. Hollywood was playing when Worthy, let's at least not lie. Hollywood was playing when Worthy emerged last year. Rice was out last year. Rice is going to be out part of this year too. We haven't seen wide receiver. He was wide receiver 33. What wide receiver was Ray McLeod? What wide receiver was Ray McLeod? I'm just messing. That's enough. Turpin was all the rage on UD streams I watched about a month ago or more. Oh, I don't know what streams those are, so I can't speak to that. That's good. Where are we at on the Bears backfield now? Still haven't heard anything that makes me believe Swift won't be the clear lead. No, I agree. Swift is the clear lead. I'm taking some Swift medicine, although we're here on drafters and Swift is going in the 50s. And I don't think I can stomach Swift at this price. Swift on DraftKings is closer to pick 70 in the 60s, I believe. Similar to Underdog. I do like him on PPR sites a little bit better, but Swift is definitely the I'm taking my medicine type guy for me this year. I don't love it. I'm not happy about it. Don't ask me about it. But I'm just taking it and dealing with it. Let's see. It's a nice fall on Garendo. He goes with Purdy and Kittle, of course. Yeah, this is another thing. Like, they did play in the playoffs, and those games count. I thought we just said TDs are random. You're all over the place. We got D-Lou worked up about Ray McLeod and Xavier Worthy this morning. That's how you know that we are back, baby. We are back. Ray McLeod debates in the chat. I do love it. Zach says, I don't watch much college ball. Were you in on Roman Wilson as a prospect at all? Assuming not by your by your Steelers talk. Not really. I would say not really. I wouldn't say I would be like all the way out. Intrigued, maybe is the right word. Like you could see some stuff in Roman Wilson. Production was not great. Specifically, efficiency was meh. Size is not awesome. The athleticism is fine. Yeah, just we convinced ourselves last year about Roman Wilson because he landed in a spot where it's very easy to see that he could be the wide receiver 2. That was next to George Pickens, right? Now he's next to DK Metcalf. And so, oh yeah, perfect. Brenton Strange to go with my T-Law. I can't believe I fucked this team up, by the way. We definitely got to run it back after this because this is a disaster. Chris says Brandon Thorne. Shout out Brandon Thorne. Everybody needs to go read. If you want to learn about offensive line play, Brandon Thorne is the best in the biz. saying the Cowboys O-line is going to be geared towards quick passes. I know you mentioned quick passes. I was wondering how that might affect Pickens. I think it's fine. It's also the quick passes can lead to the home run over the top, right? You lure the defense in, get him to play a little one-on-one with George Pickens on the outside, then you take your shots. Because deep passes can be quick. You can run 3-step go routes, 3-step fades, right? 3-step posts, 5-step. What you can run, it's not quick game like a hitch, a screen, a bubble pass, whatever. It's not quick game like that. But you can throw down the field in a quick passing offense. Obviously, like long developing routes are a different part of that conversation. But I'm in on Pickens. Like I'm fully Pickens pilled. I'm fully Cowboys passing game pilled. As you can tell that we talked a lot about KaVontae goddamn Turpin today, but I'm in on the Cowboys. Reed or Golden. So I'm taking both at about the same clip. Here's how I'm thinking about it. Let me make this pick real quick. Oh God, this is a Josh Palmer ass team, isn't it? I assume my boy is gone. Of course. Sure. Josh Palmer, come on down. Matthew Golden is a first-round rookie. Speaking of like, what did I think about Matthew Golden as a prospect? I was not as high as the NFL for sure on Matthew Golden. He is the type of player that was wildly inefficient, didn't really earn targets at a super high level. There's a small sample at the end of the season at Texas when he did, but he was a big recruit at Houston and was mid, and people will say, and probably rightfully so, the Houston ecosystem was the problem there. But then he goes to Texas and he kind of needed like everybody to get hurt and stuff, and a weird run out to earn real targets. And he did look good at the end of the season, but the overall target earning, the overall per route efficiency, the overall just like really any kind of metric is not very good for Matthew Golden. He's very much a trust me, bro, watch the games type guy. And, that's fair. I do watch the games. I do think he looks good when I watch him play. But people said that about A.D. Mitchell in the same offense. Like this is literally what everyone told me for all summer. You don't get it. Just watch the tape, bro. A.D. Mitchell's always open. And I'm like, okay, sure. And A.D. Mitchell, spoiler alert, not always open. So much so that he is still the wide receiver 4 on his own NFL team. But all right, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I know this is too early, but I can't stomach I cannot stomach unstacked Patrick Mahomes on this team. And I know how you guys do in these drafts. There's a very strong likelihood that I do not get Jalen Royals to come back to me, and he's mandatory. But anyway, Golden, the sheer fact that he's a first-round pick, he's a rookie. There's clear runway for him to kind of take the reins as the lead guy in this passing game. In my opinion, has a level of upside where we look back and he's the lad of this year. I'm not saying that that's my prediction because it's not, but I'm saying that's in the range of outcomes. The range of outcomes is not only defined by my personal player take, right? Being a first-round pick, rookie wide receiver in this situation is a good thing. And that means he has an upside because we haven't seen him play in the NFL. Just honestly, that Jayden Reed doesn't have. But who do I think more often, right? We run this season 100 times. Who more often has a better year? I think it's Jayden Reed. Like 65-35 Jayden Reed or something like that. But there's 2 or 3 out of that 35 for Matthew Golden that are like league winner seasons. I'm making up numbers, but you get that's the kind of thought experiment for me when it comes to those two guys. Yeah, definitely. I'm with you, Cody. I know you didn't mean that Emeka was going to be Justin Jefferson. Yeah. Who is going to be the next superstar prospect is Jeremiah Smith. for the Ohio State University. Morning, Mikey. GM. Ray has has nothing to do with Mooney, correct? Turpin has very little to do with Pickens, correct? Other than usage bumps in case of injury, I'm not even sure they get usage. Like maybe, I guess, a little bit, but like they don't play the same positions, right? That's why we have to classify between running backs. Not all running backs are the same. Not all wide receivers are the same. There's a lot of subtlety to that. Here's the straight hammer time late round running back for me right now is Keaton Mitchell. Also getting some nice positive news. Healthier than he's ever been. Healthier than before his injury, which feels weird. Not an expert in ACL tears, but these guys talk about how they're healthier now, 2 years after, than they were before. It seems bizarre, but nonetheless. Yeah, we screwed up. Mikey boy, do you know if the draft or seal starts today or tomorrow? I'm almost positive it's today, but I can double check for you. Today. Confirmed. The drafters deal starts today. Oh boy, running back room is a bit light. So we're gonna go to Taj here. Yeah, Olave on the Bucks would rock, man. Olave without the concussions on the Bucks would be amazing. This is a fact. That is for sure. Also for sure. Shout out to Mules. 260 drafts. No Rice. Good for you. I wish that was the case for me. I was hammering early Rashee Rice for sure. Mac, about the Swift conversation from earlier. At 15% Swift, average ADP of 76. Beautiful. That is well played, sir. See, that's like why we're talking about all this. Like the real point of all like the training camp hype and the silly debates we're having about some of these players is like, let's get in before these big rises. I think it's one of the things that I've done better. It could be a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy when you stream best ball drafts every single day, but then not that many people watch these. I am not Pat Carine. I am not Josh Norris or whatever. But getting in, even when it's like we sometimes joke about CLV and like people caring a little bit too much about CLV, but you still want to get the best prices, and not just because CLV helps you win. CLV in and of itself doesn't help you win. But obviously, having a better price is better than having a worse price. But also, once you get in, now you don't feel this pressure of chasing the steam on any individual. When you have 15% DeAndre Swift at pick 76 on average, and now he's going at pick 55, and you don't feel comfortable about that, like I don't feel comfortable about that, wash your hands and sit it out, dude. You got the best of the best DeAndre Swift teams. It's the absolute dream way to play it. Should I take Ray McLeod? I think somebody likes him here. Just curious. Here's what we're gonna do. Screw you guys. KaVontae Turpin time. How about that? Not Ray McLeod. KaVontae Turpin. That's great. Is it B Spurf or BS Perf? I just want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. I'm weird with pronunciations. When I don't know how to pronounce somebody's name, it bugs me. I don't know what that says about me, but I mean, I know I'm weird. But B Spurf. I'm gonna go B Spurf. Having the countdown to opening night on a countdown app is hilarious. Even I don't have that. Probably because that would make me really 41. I have a lot of fucking drafts to do in 41 days. It's basically that's all I would feel existential, like true and complete and utter misery every morning if I if that was I love that. Is D-Lou drafting 12th? Because Ray went. Now I'm gonna go get Jermaine Burton. I'm still hoping for continued hype on Jermaine Burton. All right, I screwed this team up with the 3 quarterbacks, but that's okay. We recovered. Stacked them all up. Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy, Trevor Lawrence, Amari and Hampton. See, I just could have used a little bit more running back juice. Anyway, Amari and Hampton, Tony Pollard, Zach Charbonnet, Ray Davis, Isaac Guerrero, Keaton Mitchell, and Taj Brooks, Puka Nacua, Drake London, Zay Flowers, Travis Hunter, Josh Palmer, Jalen Royals, KaVontae Turpin, and Jermaine Burton with George Kittle and Brenton Strange. Let's do another draft so I can get in one that I don't hate. That would be nice. Oh, shit. 3 out of 12. That's going to be all you guys. Dubs sounds like seems like a fun love backstack. I have some of those. I'm with that. What is the difference between Roman Wilson last year and Luther Burden this year? I don't get the hype. Wildly different prospects. Like completely different prospect profiles. Luther Burden was arguably heading into this past season was the number 1 wide receiver. Like he was so first of all, he was the number 1 recruit in the country out of high school. Number 1 wide receiver recruit. I can't remember if he's the number 1 overall recruit. Either way, one of the best recruits, like a big time 5-star, goes to Mizzou, plays right away, breaks out immediately, has an absolutely monster sophomore season, and then had a weird junior season this past year. Roman Wilson basically never did anything like Luther Burden did. Roman Wilson was also a 3rd round pick, right? Yeah. Roman Wilson was the 84th pick. Luther Burden was the 39th. The 39th pick. So pretty different. I did see this. I should have put this on the notes. Shuby says Golden has a new nickname and it is Bullet. It's a pretty cool nickname. But Bullet Golden doesn't flow off the tongue. So it's just Bullet. But I can get behind Bullet as a nickname. Are you drafting Najee right now? How are you handling that situation? I'm currently sitting out the Najee fall. Admittedly, I didn't really like clicking the Najee button as it was. And so I am I'm kind of just in wait and see mode on Najee. The price is getting pretty good, but I generally like my running backs to have 2 eyes, not just 1. Even at like pick 145 or whatever, I prefer 2-eyed running backs as opposed to 1. So I'm kind of waiting and seeing. Santino, Godwin thoughts. Are you on or off? I am on Chris Godwin. I'm admittedly buying Egbuka more than Godwin right now, as Godwin's going to continue to fall and Egbuka is going to rise. So like in my drafts functionally right now, I'm trying to get my Egbuka up before everybody else gets hip to Emeka Egbuka. But Chris Godwin, I'm in. The fall is great. I think Godwin is a fantasy superstar when healthy. Is he going to be healthy? I don't know, but I'm willing to take that bet at these prices for sure. Are we sleeping on Palmer? I'm not sleeping on Palmer. I like Josh Palmer this year. Do you think a 2? So this is actually a good question. Jerry says, do you think a 2 or 3 QB build wins Best Ball Mania 6 this year? I think a 3 QB build will win because I think more people draft 3 quarterbacks than draft 2. Not because it's better. It's a sampling bias issue, not necessarily because it's better. It's like if you play DFS, if you play like DraftKings on a Sunday, and there's a running back who's 75% owned, even if he's not awesome, the most likely scenario is that he's on the winning team because 75% of the people played him. You know, so that's kind of how I think about it. What do you think of the two Indy quarterbacks from slot 2 at drafters? Different. I don't love the Indy quarter. I will say, I guess I prefer them on DraftKings better, but I don't really like the Indy quarterbacks, either of them. They both suck. I don't think the Colts are going to be that awesome. I think the Colts run through Jonathan Taylor anyway. I get it. Like I understand the premise of the Colts guys. Just like give me the quarterbacks earlier. Like I'm not dealing with this nonsense. Tyler Shuck, Daniel Jones Daniel Jones really not going to play every game. Like, come on. What another fun fact that I saw that I should have put on the notes sheet. One of the beat writers from the Giants. I both love and loathe the fact that they're charting targets in all of these practices. It's like cool to see, but like it also very annoying. I know JJ Watt went ham on it and is very triggered by it. And sometimes it does trigger me too. So I'm with you, JJ. But it was something like Russell Wilson threw 13 passes in the team session and 7 went to Malik Neighbors or something like that. And so whoever it was, I don't remember who which Giants beat it was like Neighbors might break the target record in the history of the NFL. And I'm like, we're extrapolating, and he really might, but like we're extrapolating that from 113 pass segment in day 3 of training camp or whatever. B-Spurf, there we go. Have you analyzed if your fast or slow drafts perform better? I have not, and I don't ultimately think that it matters. Versus slow for me, hell yeah, AJ Brown. Fast versus slow for me is about life EV. I need to do the slows. So I just like I don't really care. I think every case made for fast drafts being better is logical, but I ultimately don't really think it matters. I think what matters is you shake the players up into a blender, and or we're playing Yahtzee and we pick them up and roll the dice out, and hopefully you hit Yahtzee. That's kind of what we're trying to do with our teams. Is it, I guess, easier if the fast drafters are worse? Sure, but fast drafters will also just like auto the top guy to soak up the ADP value that you were hoping that you were getting. It's at I know Leone did research on fast versus slows that there was not much of a difference. I think that it's very logical to say in fast drafts you're going to find not in every fast draft, but over an entire portfolio of fast drafts you may be able to siphon off a little bit more of an edge. But I just don't think it matters that much. And like I said, for me, like there's just absolutely no chance that I could do all fast. I just have to do a lot of slows. What football player wears number 41? Alvin Kamara. Roman Wilson over Calvin Austin for a late round pit stack. That's where I'm at right now. I think Calvin Austin's like a fun little gadgety type player, but he's really just a home run hitter. And as I mentioned, one thing that is notable, right, is like where on the depth chart and what personnel groupings are guys playing in. And so in 12 personnel, aka in 2 wide receiver sets for the Steelers, Roman Wilson was out there with DK Metcalf. Calvin Austin came in 3 wide receiver sets. If you know anything about Arthur Smith and about this Steelers offense, probably going to be a good chunk of 2 wide receiver sets. So I would much prefer Roman Wilson in that regard. Will can't stop drafting Hampton. I'm comfortable with him anywhere after McBride goes. You and me both, Will. I am with you. CPAT does exist on the Steelers. That is technically true. We'll deny bullet. let's do a Josh Allen team here, huh? I guess I could try and wait on Hurts, but 50% of my neighbors, 50% of my neighbors AJB teams have Jalen Hurts. So let's do Josh Allen instead. Bearish report on injury experts on Godwin yesterday. Yeah, I'm not worried about it right now. But something to monitor for sure. I mean, dislocated his ankle. It's a real injury. So my take on like the injury stuff is we knew he had a very serious injury. Like that was the thing. That's the whole reason why he goes where he goes is because he got hurt. He was when he got injured last year, he was the wide receiver 2 in fantasy, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL when he got injured last year. Is it possible? Holy D-Lou, I like it. Straight robust. You can't see because of my my face. H.A.N. Genty, Jacobs, Brees. I like it. For a robust team, that's super fun. But like the injury risk concerns are like almost always overly discounted because people are so afraid. And then when we get the news, and then of course Hurts is here, as to be expected. I think I'm going to take the Terry fall here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do James Cook. I don't have this. We just gave a positive news report on James Cook being there, practicing. We're into this new tier of running back, right? Hampton, Kyron, Brees. D-Lou took Brees and Jacobs. B. Kurt took Hampton and Kyron. I'm gonna do James Cook on this one. Try for something a little bit different. I have neighbors. Let's queue up Justin Fields for the all-toe team, says Pepper Tony. But anyway, the Godwin thing, just like with all injuries, not the majority of injuries, is the field is terrified of every injured player. I'm trying to win Best Ball Mania. I want to do this, or I'm trying to win the Drafters main event here, or I'm trying to win Best Ball Mania. I'm trying to win the DraftKings Millie or whatever. I want to find the things that everybody's sure, right? We're just going to plummet Godwin because, the reports are bad. It's like, sure, but like at what point does that like, okay, he's going to be a slow starter? But what about end of season upside? They just gave him a contract extension, So like these Twitter injury experts are not that excited, but the Bucs are pretty excited about Chris Godwin. So, there's always a push-pull. There's always multiple angles to take to any individual player. And I'm trying to like find the exploitable angles. I'm not saying that Chris Godwin is that, although I do think he probably is going to end up being one of the more potentially exploitable angles, like getting a locked in stud wide receiver now who theoretically be peaking at the end of the season seems good. Consigliere says, I think I do build slows different than fast. I tend to push more in slows because people make less dumb decisions. I think that's a totally reasonable way to put it. Oh boy. Last year I suggested Vele and Sean Tucker as late round rarely drafted sneaky picks, but was poo-pooed by another prominent streamer. Curious on your thoughts regarding Jalen Lane and Jordan Watkins this year. Vele really came on in camp last year, so I don't think that was anything that needed to be poo-pooed by anyone. Sean Tucker was bold. I like it. I know that the RotoViz guys were with you on Sean Tucker. He was just like a really fun prospect. This is going to be the Travis Hunter show today. I told you guys I'm trying to get my Travis Hunter back up. Jalen Lane, I don't love. Jordan Watkins is intriguing to me. So as the resident Trey Harris slappy in really anywhere, I freaking love Trey Harris. But you have the Ole Miss factor, which for anybody that doesn't understand, like Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin can be a little like Lane Kiffin, his like Kevin O'Connell style, Sean McVay style wizardry that creates production that isn't necessarily always direct result from the player talent. Marvin Harrison was producing because he's a superstar. Malik Neighbors was producing because he's a superstar and played with Jaden Daniels. Sometimes, Elijah Moore produced because he's a good college player and Lane Kiffin is a wizard. So that's a grain of salt to take with any Ole Miss stuff. But Trey Harris was the man. Jordan Watkins was the 2 in that Ole Miss offense. And what I did find very intriguing is when Trey Harris would leave, Jordan Watkins was able to shoulder a lot more of that burden. And I found that to be interesting. And he had some monster games when Trey Harris was injured last year that I do find appealing. I also think stylistically, Watkins is a very intriguing fit in a Kyle Shanahan. Oh, wow. Pick 65 for Chuba, eh? Let's do that. I think he's a nice fit in a Kyle Shanahan offense. The draft capital was a little bit better than I expected on Jordan Watkins as well. And so I'm kind of into it, especially now with the Jacob Cowing. There's runway now for Jordan Watkins. Ayuk out. Jauan is practicing, but wants a new contract. Currently, Ricky Pearsall is out, but he'll be back in about 2 days, is what they're saying on Sunday. So you kind of combine all this stuff, and I think Jordan Watkins makes for. He does have Demarcus Robinson there too, so if he can't pop, they have this kind of dust ball veteran to rely upon. But I think Watkins is an intriguing late round flyer. Jalen Lane, not a big fan. Cannot believe they spent all that draft capital on him. He's a small gadget slot receiver, which is not nothing. He's kind of a slot receiver yak player, right? You like get the ball in his hands and let him do some work. I'm not so into that profile from a fantasy sense. It's hard for me to envision him being a smash, given he's 5'8", 175 pounds or something like that, and slot only. It's kind of my issues with Jalen Lane. QB on Underdog has frustrated me this year. They keep going way ahead of ADP, and I get sniped more than usual. I blame Karain. I also blame Karain. I am with you. What happened to the don't chase injuries? We're playing a market game. We're playing a peer-to-peer game. What do you mean don't chase injury? Who doesn't chase injuries? I chase injuries. People said this. Mark Andrews. This just happened with Mark Andrews. People said, "Oh, he had a serious injury. Can't take him." And he was like one of the leaders in spike weeks amongst tight ends. He's older than Chris Godwin. Injuries are one form of risk. Every player has a risk profile and a range of outcomes. The fact that Chris Godwin is coming in with an injury is a part of his risk profile. He really has almost no other risk as a part of his profile. Other players have. Is Matthew Golden actually a competent NFL player? Right? Why are we chasing? Right? Why are we chasing Matthew Golden but not chasing Chris Godwin? Why are we chasing Emeka Egbuka just because his Baker loves him? Baker also loves Chris Godwin. Like, everybody has their own individual. Injury is one kind of risk. We just treat it more harshly because we can kind of wrap our head around injury risk a little bit more than we can wrap it around some other kinds of risk. He says all this, but I'm drafting Egbuka. Yeah, push pull. That's a great way to put it. Morning, D Ross. Lots of Falcons talk with the Falcons Abby. Lots of Falcons talk for D Ross to get all fired up. But surely my 25% Pitts won't burn me again from the Falcons fan. What could go wrong? Oh, Mike Williams bags. Yeah, tough scene. This is definitely a peer-to-peer game. We have chatters challenging each other. I told you, we are so back, man. Pitt's career circling the drain. Folks challenging each other to drafts in the YouTube chat. Me slipping up and screwing up and drafting that 3 quarterback atrocity that I just drafted. We're so back. Training camp hype. It is a wonderful, wonderful time to be alive. Send me a head-to-head, bro. Send me a head-to-head. Anybody remember those DFS days? People talk shit on Twitter and just send me a head-to-head, bro. Send me a 1K. I remember those. Send me a 1K. Try to flex on somebody. Those are the days. Just send me a 1K, bro. God, we're stupid. Man, what a time. What a time to be alive. Reminder that entering my round 8 pick here. See, the Fields thing is like so crazy because I just don't even totally love the price that he's at right now. Let's do Mooney. Let's go ahead and do Mooney. I should probably see if I should see if he'll fall a little bit after his fall that he had at practice. But I like him in this range. He goes kind of after all these other guys that Reed, Gold, and Downs, Egbuka, all those guys kind of come off the board, and then there's Mooney right there, and I kind of like him in that spot. Okay, can you guys chill? But just relax. Take a breath. It's a beautiful Friday morning. We're drafting best ball teams, talking about training camp. Because you disagree on Ray McLeod, it's going to be okay. I promise. Like, it's going to be okay. Advancing team, like we don't need to be flexing our advance rates in BBM. Did you win BBM? Did you make the finals? No. So it's okay. This is not, I mean, civilized. It's civilized in that you guys are like not being 6-year-olds, but also you kind of are being 6-year-olds, challenging each other to drafts and flexing your advance rates on July. What is today? July 25th. We're sitting in a YouTube chat at 10:30 in the morning, flexing advance rates. Like, come on. You guys got triggered with each other because we disagreed about a take. It's okay. It happens. But it's stupid. Like, come on. Ray McLeod? Really? That's it? Oh, man. It is interesting. It's so hard because I think the hard part in best ball from an advance rate perspective that people struggle with is we don't know. I think even a person who is obsessed like with advance rates and all that kind of stuff would tell you a normal person, that's not a idiot reply guy on social media and douchebag, whatever, would tell you that like well aware that the end goal of this is not just advance rate. It's not the perfect metric to determine success. The problem is that most people don't know what. So what do I do? The only thing that our silly brains can like that we can wrap around. Okay, Fields price looks good now. Oh man. Yeah, we got to buy the Fields dip here. 104. I'm in. Yeah, people love to quote advance rates, and it's not that like advance rate is wrong. It's just definitely not the best. You could advance 75% of your teams and not really have a good season. Certainly in one tournament. It's like it's like we just don't need to do this. We can do better. We can try and have seek out the fact that the only thing that matters is finishing near the top in week 17. You even make week 17 and it's like congrats, you like broke even on the year. Like you spent all this time and breaking even in best ball, tying up your money for like an entire calendar year. Breaking even is losing money. So like we're playing this crazy game that is so top heavy and so focused on week 17. Of course, on drafters, that's not the case. But it's still top heavy, even on drafters. So like it's like again, I come from DFS, right? played 150 teams into the Millie Maker in week 1, and you min cashed a bunch of them, you wouldn't be like going on like posting screenshots on Twitter and like bragging about it. You would like not be mad, but you wouldn't be happy either. So it's just a really unique case. Let's see here. I'll do a little. I'm trying to get just a sliver more of Tyrone Tracy. I'm not trying to go crazy with Tracy and Scattaboo, but I'm trying to get a little bit more. Grant says, I don't know if I can break even 4 out of 5 and 10x 1 out of 5 seems good to me. Sure, if you can do that, tell me. Come. We'll switch places. If you can break even 4 out of 5 slates in best ball and 10x in the other one, please let me know. You have solved this fucking game. What happens is you lose money in 4 out of 5 and break even. You lose money in 2 or 3 out of 5 and you break even in 2 or 3 out of 5 is what happens to 98% of people. Most people lose money in best ball. It's 10+% rake. It's super top heavy. It's hard. Breaking even is an accomplishment. That's why people tout advance rates, because it's just the chaos of all I can look at is how many you have to advance to win it all. Like, yeah, no shit. You also have to win in the playoffs to win it all. Like, nobody ever says that. Like, ultimately week 17 is really all that matters, and that sucks, but it's also the fun. I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm here, of course, to try to win money, because I think this is an advantageous game to play to try to win money. But will it happen this year, or in 5 years, or in 10 years, or whatever? Like, I've finished 8th and 12th in Best Ball Mania, and unfortunately, the payouts were such that wasn't life-changing money for me. I made the 5-5-5 final last year. I've made a decent amount of finals, and I just happen to have not like mega life-changing money in any of those big hits, but I'm happy with those results. And I'm ultimately here as dude, just the feeling of getting to week 17, like Delu says, getting there is just, it like makes it all worth it, even if it doesn't go great. That like week build up and like twisting your brain into a pretzel, trying to figure out what you need to win, like who you have to fade, who you need to win. Like, there's just nothing like it. And so we need to come up with better metrics than advance rate to determine. It's difficult because this game is weird, and I'm not sure that there's anything from a predictive sense to determine like advance rate is definitely not the best metric to determine who the best players are and who had the best season, but also just is just the week 17 performance. I don't know. I don't have the right answer for that. But what I do know is that we can do better all around, for sure. And like, let's just have some goddamn fun. That's what we're here to do. I'm trying to win this $500,000 over here with my Darnell Mooney teams here on Drafters. I'll buy the Ramondre dip too. Yeah, this was a few years ago. I think so. This was Best Ball Mania 2. Best Ball Mania 2 was Overzet and I drafted a team together on his channel, and it got 8th in Best Ball Mania 2. So it was like 30 or 40K total back then. And then 12th 2 years ago was 20K. And like this year it's like 200 or some shit. Like 100. Like, I happened to get 12th 2 years ago when they did all the bullshit regular season prizes, if you recall. So you want to talk about top heavy? I got 12th and it was $20,000, and first place was 3 million. Was that the year 3 million or 2 million? Whatever. Like, I lost by like 8 points or some shit, and I got 20K, and the dude that got first got 2 million. It's like, Tough luck. But that's another thing. Like, if you're playing more than just the flagship tournaments, what if you win the $3 on DraftKings or the $3 on Drafters? It's $25K. Are you a worse player than the guy that won BBM? Probably not. You might be better. I don't know. But that guy has $2 million and you have 25K. Like I've had some really good seasons, but the raw financial dollars were not the same as the people who won some of the tournaments. And does that make me worse? I don't know. Maybe it does. I don't feel like it does. Oh God. Little Dalton Kincaid action on a Friday morning. Josh Allen, James Cook, Dalton Kincaid. I'm not gonna stack Justin Fields. Mason Taylor will possibly be on the table here, though I really don't like him. Good question for underdog. Do you just ignore the regular season prizes when building teams? I do. I don't really. It's just a small sliver of the payouts, and you can still win them drafting the teams that we draft. Anyway, I'm not drafting teams that are like bad for the regular season. I understand some people think that they're drafting better teams for the regular season, and that's fine. But the teams that I draft can do well in the regular season and do well in the playoffs. I'm just focused on where the money is, which is in the playoffs. Yeah, DFS is just as bad. I got 8th in the 555 milli and 115K. It's nuts, dude. It's crazy. Like I haven't had a huge score in DFS in a couple of years. Like made some live finals, had some nice tournament finishes, and it's the same shit. Like, oh, you got 9th. Here's $5,000, which is like cool, but like no one's complaining about that. But I guess I am. But no one's complaining about that. But you're like, that's sometimes it's tough luck with the payout structure. That's why it's just got to be about the fun. It's got to be about the fun. Yeah, this is true. Dude, break even is a good year. I pretty much broke even last year. I did not make the BBM final. I did not make the DK Millie final. I made a couple like small, with puppy. I think I made the puppy 3, maybe the super flex, and like one of the like shit tournaments on DraftKings, that's like 5K to first or something. But I made the 555 final, which was like $25,000, $30,000. So I might have been 20, something like that. So like that was it. That was my season. I got second to last, I think, in week 17, because like Dude said, advance rate, is something. Making the final there's just nothing like it unless all your players sit, which is kind of what happened to me. Good Lord, man. I'm gonna stay strong on the Najee fade here, I think. Should I do Pitts on this one? Why not? Come on. Let's do a little Kyle Pitts. It's a wonderful Friday. We're having fun talking about Ray McLeod and Xavier Worthy and Kyle Pitts hype yet again. We might as well. Dalton Kincaid, Kyle Pitts is like the most, are we really going to do this again, tight end room you could ever possibly have? Yeah. Drafted 1,500 teams last year, and essentially broke even with 1,555 that got, there were, I think, 30 teams in the final, and I got like 29th or 28th or something like that. But actually, it's like said, the plight of a best ball bro. That's the other thing that people forget. And like why, of course, advancing teams matters, and why we do want to advance. Everyone wants to advance as many teams as possible, but you don't want to forego kind of the nuclear upside in the playoff weeks in order to advance more teams. And I'm not even sure how that conversation would play itself out. Like, what levers are we pulling to be on each side of that advance rate versus late season upside? But the plight of the best ball bro is every year one team decides your season. one, and pretty much one only. Your best team will decide. You could advance 50% in BBM, but the best one is going to decide whether you have a good year or not. Like, that's it. So like all this stuff doesn't really matter that much because it all comes down to your singular best team. How does that do? Does it win a tournament? Does it finish high in a tournament? Does your best team bring back $2,000 or $200,000 is going to decide your season, right? So it's a crazy game that we play. Tyler Algier to the fucking podium. Yes. I should have done had I known that this was going to shake out this way, I probably still would have passed on Justin Fields and got Michael Penix onto this team. But nonetheless, yeah, this is just like what it's so easy for this to happen. I mean, the flip side of this is I don't even know how to define what your best, what our best team is. I've talked to Karain about this a bunch, but the team that he had that won $3 million in Best Ball Mania, he specifically talked about, looking at his semifinal teams or looking at his playoff teams or both. And he's like, how many teams would I pick over that one? Like most of them. It was one of his least favorite teams that he had in the tournament left. And it's like, well, that's the one that won 3 million. Like we can't even make it to the playoffs and be able to accurately predict which team is going to be the best one. It's nuts. There you go. That's a good comp. I like it. One final team from 2 BBM teams. Made the finals with only 2 BBM teams. Insane. A lot of injuries. So you min cash, but jeez, man. That's an absolutely incredible run out. See, there's the perfect example. Your best team wasn't awesome, only air quotes only 37.50, but shit, man, on $50, that's a hell of a return. Noah Fant and Ben Sinnott at tight end in the finals. But yeah, it's a crazy game. It's an absolutely insane game that we play. So, like I said, we'll move on. It has to be fun. We have to have fun. If you're not having fun, I don't think this is the right hobby, honestly. God, I hate what you guys have done to the Will Shipley price here on Drafters. It is so painful. This is not a bad price on Tank Bigsby, though. Do I need Diami more or Tank Bigsby more? Probably Diami. I have Travis Hunter, Egbuka. Honestly, think I need Diami more on this team. I've got 5 running backs, including James Cook, Chuba Hubbard. I'm not that bad for an Eric running back room. This is pretty good. James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, Tyron Tracy, Ramondre Stevenson, and Tyler Algier. Take a couple more. Do 8 wide receivers. So we'll do a little 2, 7, 8, 3 team. I like to draft 3 tight ends when I start with someone like Kincaid Pitts reeks of a 3 tight end room for sure. Perfect. Dorito, notably past champion of the Drafters main event, mentions his last year worst advance rate he's had. I believe you faded Jamar Chase, right? So worst advance rate because you faded it and light Saquon, right? So you faded some core pieces that were really high advance rate pieces, and yet that fade ended up being really good. It hit in a big way in the playoffs, which then turned into your best ROI. It's crazy. Like it's a crazy game. I mean, I faded Saquon and was live as shit to win $1 million in the 5-5-5 final. Obviously, it didn't come through. Like I had a bunch of guys sat out games, but like I had neighbors on that team who smashed. I'm trying to think of, but did Connor sit out week 17? Is that right? I can't remember, but Njoku sat out, and like same thing. A bunch of guys sat out, which that's just how them's the breaks. But it was eerily close to having a below average advance rate and winning a whole shitload of money. Faded all the Bengals. Dorito did. So see that there's so many ways to win in this game. It's beautiful. I know one would say, shouldn't you take Mason Taylor? But I'm taking Mike Gesicki. I much prefer him. He is in a completely different tier of tight end for me than Mason Taylor. CD Connor. Yeah, I had Njoku. Chuba. Yeah, you're right. I had Chuba. Yeah, it's like, what are you going to do, man? Had a bunch of the smash picks, and they didn't play in week 17. Remember Josh Reynolds incoming? Absolutely not. We're going to just let Justin Fields run. And this maybe Isaiah Davis or something on the team. What year was it? 3 years ago or 4 years ago that Jalen Hurts was an absolute smash, like 7th round pick or something like that. Jalen Hurts. And he missed the last 2 weeks. And also Trevor Lawrence sat out week 16. Or no, Lawrence sat out week 17 because week 18 was like the game they were playing Houston or Indy or whoever in week 18. And the winner of that game would win the division and go to the playoffs. So week 17 was actually not impactful. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. And then Jalen Hurts missed 16 and 17 with injury. And it was like Jalen Hurts was the best quarterback pick on the board, one of the best picks in all drafts. Trevor Lawrence was actually an awesome pick that year. And it's like, well, my best team also, and I don't remember if it was the 5-5-5 or something like that, advanced to the final, and I had Lawrence Hurts, so I had no quarterback. You think Eric is taking Josh Reynolds? You have not been paying attention. Yeah, I will have 0 Josh Reynolds. That I can tell you. Seattle stack and they scored 3 points. That's like, what can you do, man? It's nuts. But it's fun. That's also what keeps us coming back. I feel like, the wins definitely keep you coming back, but getting there and it not going your way, like just brings like it, it brings you back. It makes you hungry to draft some more, find some things that maybe you went wrong, but also just continue to do your thing. I think people, all this conversation, like all you guys are mentioning here. There is Mason Taylor. I'm not taking 4. Let's keep rolling Keaton here. Since I see that Shuby took Jalen Royals and Will Shipley, of course. Like all you guys like made finals, had awesome teams. We're super close. All of us over the course of the last 5 years have all like been super close to monster scores. And some of you have had monster scores, Doritos won tournament and stuff. We've been so close, but then the natural reaction of like every best ball bro that I know at least is after a season is over, like, what did I do wrong? How can I get better? How can I fix this? And it's like, you definitely always want to be getting better, but I think we tend to overcorrect. It's like, if Chuba and Connor and CD played last year, would I change anything? I might be a millionaire. Like what? If Seattle scores 35 points instead of 3 points, would D-Lou change anything? Probably not. So why would we change our process if honestly most things went according to plan? From a got to the final with a high upside loaded team that it just didn't go great. Should we overcorrect for the Saquon thing? Should we overcorrect for, if you faded the Bengals last year, was that wrong? Was that right? There's a lot of different ways to win in this game. And I feel like every year we come back and we look at the results of the year before and we try to fix things that we got wrong. And I'm not sure that that's the best way to approach the game. God damn it. You guys are really trying to make me take Mason Taylor, huh? Oh, guys. We'll do Taj. Taj again. Play the hits. Let's play the hits. Here we go. 12-man dynasty. Zay Flowers or a mid-2026 first? Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers for me. Reflect the sun. Weather is not that Seattle versus Chicago game was miserable by the dome games. There you go. And see, here's the other thing. That's the crazy stuff is sometimes the games, Bengals Broncos was outdoors in Denver or Cincy. And that was the nuts. If you recall, my favorite example of just like how truly unpredictable week 17 is, 2 years ago? Jets, Browns, week 17, Brees goes nuts. And 2 or 3 years ago, Brees goes nuts. And I think like Njoku was really good in that game. Amari was good the week before, whatever. Yeah, Jets, Browns goes nuts. And it was the game that everybody's like, oh my God, LOL. Can you imagine drafting guys in that game? It's going to be outdoors with the 2 worst offenses. And they did. It was 2 of the worst offenses. And the game still went nuts. We just can't predict. We can't predict it right before the game starts. We can't predict how these things are going to go. We definitely can't predict it in fucking July when the game's going to happen on New Year's Eve. El Nino. Yes, that's correct. Are you buying any of this Keandre Lambert-Smith camp hype? A little bit. He's in my pool. I'm not going crazy, but Mike Williams retiring is like a real thing that gives him a lot more opportunity. And so if he continues to show out, it's going to give him a chance to earn even more of that opportunity. Look at this. Look at us. Paul Rudd.gif. Look at us. KaVontae Turpin, round 19. Guys, someone fucking take Mason Taylor, please. I can't handle this. I really shoot. Okay, I put Coker in. No, let's do Noah Brown. This is why these streams are so plus EV is idiots like me take the 3 quarterbacks like I did earlier. And then I don't pay attention to the board. So Vele is gone, Turpin is gone, Jermaine Burton is gone. Those are all the guys that I wanted here at this pick. And so, but Noah Brown is back to practice. So we're all right. Yeah. Who's Darth Peace? Show yourself. Look at this team. KaVontae Turpin, Jermaine Burton, Devon Vele in the 15th round, Io Manor in the 14th with Ward, Javonte, Dobbins, Trey Harris, Ricky Pearsall, Trey McBride. If Darth Peace is not here or not a spike weaker, that's insane. That's goddamn mind meld. It's my long lost cousin that I didn't know that I had, or brother, twin brother, Darth Peace. It's really good. I gotta move my dome so we can see D-Lou. D-Lou did the Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, and then Ray, but had to take Mason Taylor. Is that Chris? Are your Darth Peace? He says you rang. That's really funny. You might be a slappy if you draft all of those guys. Another bullish report on Royals, says Mac. I assume while we're here on the show. Let's get into our bag a little bit at wide receiver, huh? Here's one. You know who's gotten a little bit of a just a little bit of a post-hype sleeper Bills stuff at camp? Curtis Samuel. If Rob sees this team, he's gonna laugh. He's gonna laugh at me. But here we go. Josh Allen. This one's better. This team's better. Didn't get KaVontae Turpin, but a good team nonetheless. Josh Allen bought the dip on Justin Fields at quarterback. James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, Tyrone Tracy, Ramondre Stevenson, Tyler Algier, Keaton Mitchell, and Taj Brooks. I like that running back room quite a bit, actually. Malik Neighbors, AJ Brown, Travis Hunter, Emeka Egbuka, Darnell Mooney, De'Ami Brown, Noah Brown, and Curtis Samuel. Honestly, I like this team. Let's not talk about the tight ends. Dalton Kincaid, Kyle Pitts, and Mike Gesicki. This is we recovered the monstrosity that we drafted right before this, and I'm happy. I'm happy with this team. Let's we got to spin the wheel and give away some tickets. Right before I do this, remember a couple quick things. If you want to use the draft hacker and all the different Spike Week tools, our projected ownership, right? Tournament DB, so you can see how often players are getting drafted together. You can analyze your own portfolio with our Draft IQ tool, see how often you are drafting certain players together, how often you are drafting structures and stacks and all that kind of stuff. It all comes with Spike Week Premium, and we just recently reduced the price to $200 annually, $39.99 a month. And as I mentioned, we're going to be diving into more stuff in season, so be on the lookout for that, which will all come with your one subscription, right? Everything. When we're doing some betting stuff, when we're doing some DFS stuff, when we're doing all that stuff, it all comes with one subscription. We're not upcharging you. B, if you have not signed up for Drafters, where we were just drafting, use promo code SPIKE. They have a promo this weekend. You can get 100% deposit bonus up to $100 if you use code SPIKE. And if you draft 5 teams on Drafters into the $20 main event, they will give you a free ticket. So you can get a bunch of them for free this weekend. Draft them from now until Sunday. 5 teams. Fast drafts only. They have to be fast drafts. Last thing is that we're about to spin this wheel and give away. Our good friends at Drafters have given me a bunch of free tickets to give away this summer. We're giving away 3 free tickets here in just a second to folks who have commented on one of our videos over the course of this week. So next week, if you would like to be entered, before Friday morning, I put the final names in right before the show. So before 10 a.m. Eastern, let's call it before 9 a.m. Eastern, in order to be entered, comment on a Spike Week video, something that you liked, hated, what have you, in one of the Spike Week videos, and I will grab your username and I'll put it on the wheel here, and we'll give away some free tickets as well next Friday. All this reporting on Royals makes him almost undraftable. Slapping up the Dipperino on him will be unwatchable. That's hilarious. Honestly, could be a good tight end room. Let's hope. Mossy, Tournament DB is by far the biggest edge for drafters. Yeah, Tournament DB, you can check out all the teams drafted on Drafters and see all the different combinations. It really is. We'll dive into some content and pull it up. I have pulled it up, I believe, on Wednesday. But just it's insane to be able to look at all the different player combinations that are drafted in these drafts and use it to your advantage. It's in my opinion the biggest weapon that exists in all of best ball. It comes as a part of the Spike Week subscription, which, as Jonathan says, in my also very biased opinion, is the best deal in the industry. Let's go ahead and give away. Let's give away some. Let's give away some free money here, huh? All right, ticket number 1 of 3. Who's winning it? Marie. Shout out Marie Lewis. Hold on, I got to write these down. I will absolutely forget. Marie. Ooh, autocorrect to marvelous. When you type Marie Lewis into your phone, it's going to autocorrect to marvelous. There's a BBM promo this weekend, huh? Interesting. All right. Let's remove Marie and spin again for winner number 2, which of course to the Joe for best ball. Shoot me a DM. Remove that one, not all. The DB for draft projected. It's similar to DK. Yep, it's similar to DK. He says as he wins and almost wins again. No, Corey Lepore. So Marie for best ball and Corey Lepore, the 3 ticket winners for this week. Shout out Marie. Welcome. Thank you for being here with us. If you guys can message me, Discord is the best place to get a hold of me. You can tag me in one of the Spike Week channels. You can DM me on Discord, Twitter, Blue Sky, whatever. Hit me up on one of those, and I will make sure to get your Drafters username, and I will get it over to Drafters, and they will put a free ticket in to your account. Thank you guys for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. If you can hit the like button on your way out, that would be really helpful to us. Of course, subscribe if you are not subscribed. Recording a new episode of Legendary Sickos later today. Rob will be back on Sunday for another Drafters show at 10 a.m. Eastern, and I'll be hanging out in the Discord. It's a wonderful time. It's absolutely the heart of best ball season. We are so back debating Ray McLeod and KaVontae Turpin and such. Every Friday moving forward, we're going to do this kind of training camp recap. So next Friday, we'll do a very similar show, making sure that we're not missing anything that's happening in training camp for fantasy football purposes. That's going to do it for me here at Spike Week today. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Happy Friday, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.
Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? You turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there, you can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.